Hello and welcome to this O's of Harmony podcast. On this podcast, we talk new Who, classic Who, and any kind of new news that's happening. But obviously, at the minute, there's like zero.
Yep.
We say every week. I mean, like literally, we should just copy and paste the intro. I don't know why we record a new one every week, but
I don't even know why we record new podcasts. We have such a backlog. We could just like repeat like sections of old podcasts.
Yeah, the best hits, the best moments of the past 15 weeks.
Like, and they can throw in a few jokes from our old reviews as well, and yeah, it'd be fine.
Dropping skits.
No one will notice.
Yeah. I don't think anyone actually would.
No, not.
So this week, I guess they showed a new kind of Time Lord Victorious CD, so not a Big Finish one. So a separate one.
This is a BBC Audio one, right?
I believe so, which was recording during.
No, it's not. It's not Big Finish. It's yeah.
Yeah, so looks. I like the artwork. It looks interesting enough. It's got some solidness to it. I mean, it's got the oud, so it's definitely set kind of between Waters of Mars and
yeah,
and this. But they did show off two covers for new Peter Davison Big Finish ones. So it's like the Fifth Doctor joining the Time War.
I kind of glanced over that one. I knew Peter Davison was doing something, but I didn't really see what.
So yeah, so it's like the Fifth Doctor's joining the Time War. I'm wondering if this will be set during maybe the 50th anniversary when they're saving Gallifrey. I wonder if it will be around, like, tied into that. Because
I mean, that'd be cool.
Because to me, it's like, that is like the difficult thing of a Time War. Like, surely all the Doctors, one to, 7 knew about the Time War, surely. Because if time numbers, like...
Unless it's like what happened with John Hurt, where you just don't really remember it. I mean, he did explain that, so I'm guessing it's the same for the others.
Things, yeah. Interesting. Because it's like, thing is, then does he remember any of his adventures which happen in his future? Like, in the future, that's like that's the concept there. Because like, if you forget everything, that's kind of, because it's not like an interaction with himself. It's just an interaction with stuff. He definitely does remember, when he's gone to the future and the past. So
yeah,
how does it work? And
I'm guessing it depends on how that would affect the flow of the timeline. Maybe I don't know.
It's interesting. I wonder if they'll explain it. Does he forget, or does he just think it's part of a bigger war and doesn't quite realize that it is the Time War? Or it's got Rusty Davies, RTD Daleks on the cover, so it's definitely modern Daleks. Wouldn't it be amazing if they could just he could like get a classic Doctor and just film a modern episode with them, like how it would look?
That'd be cool. I mean, they sort of did that with Paul McGann, although that's kind of like
we got that, and like
midway.
Twice Upon a Time was probably the closest to getting like a proper classic, like full on adventure. I mean, like Time Crash is lovely, but it's all just set on the TARDIS, sadly. Just imagine if you go back in time, pick up Peter Davison's Doctor, bring him to today, and just be like, we're gonna shoot a Dalek story with you. Like, how crazy would that be? That's the thing I don't think they've risked yet. Like a kind of a bit like I think probably the riskiest costume they've done so far was Matt Smith's, I guess, in terms of strange looking.
What, since the classic era, probably would be.
Because the thing is while I would have said Jodie's costume was more risky, the fact that David Tennant had the long coat and it was so liked, it kind of normed the trench coat look. So it was kind of, to me, it was like, that's
it didn't seem too out of the ordinary.
Exactly. Like it was more, I guess, and it's just a t-shirt and some kind of high cut trousers, I guess they are, and some like nice strong walking boots. I do like the 13th Doctor's costume, but yeah, I'd say Matt Smith is probably was the biggest risk out of all of them, with the tweed and the bow tie, and but they've not really gone for anything like the cricket gear or anything like something really kind of pushing it.
I mean, to be fair, I'm not sure people are demanding like another cricket equivalent.
Not like that, maybe to
but
that
just
but
strange, yeah.
What would you go for if you had to choose a costume that was out there? Like, what would you be interested in seeing on screen? Because I thought about this kind of the past week when I was watching William Hartnell's Doctor.
Ooh, I'm not entirely sure. I think it needs some sort of distinct feature that like hasn't been necessarily fully represented in previous Doctors. Maybe like a hat or something. You know, we certainly have had distinct hats, but like
not like
I guess there's never been like a defining, like Tom Baker's hat is iconic, but like it's kind of overshadowed by the scarf, you know, and such.
What about like a flat cap kind of thing, a Del Boy, you know, that kind of flat cap?
Could do, yeah.
Because I mean, we had Matt Smith's top hat for a bit.
Yeah, not for very long.
To a hat, really. But no, I was thinking something like, I don't know, kind of like a pirate, kind of like a rough, like not really over the top, but kind of like a somewhat piratey kind of slightly, not like completely frilly, but you know, just kind of Will Turner, Pirates of the Caribbean kind of look. I think
I could see that. I mean, it's not too far out of the realm of possibilities. I mean, John Pertwee's kind of. I mean, you mentioned the frills, but he was kind of in that little bit of that direction as well. Anyway, so.
But yeah, I mean, like that was in the classic Who where they took those more kind of risks.
Yeah.
I think they should do that. I don't know, next costume site, just a bit more daring out there.
Yeah, I agree.
The Ruth Doctor costume was quite good. It was quite colourful, and you know, somewhere between I don't know, say like I don't know, maybe like between a 4th and 6th Doctor, kind of like sensible, kind of like the 4th, but with like starting to get the colour of a 6th Doctor's, you know. But yeah, that or like a kind of slightly cowboy get up, like with the shoes or something like, you know, just something like interesting with. Just something that really stands out, so that when you see like the Doctor on a poster, you're like, it's just kind of alien. And I think it'd just be cool. Something like, you know, something from the past, kind of a get up.
Yeah.
Kind of so that when he does look in one day, he looks slightly out of time, which kind of obviously works for like the Doctor's kind of get up.
Yes.
I think. Because, yeah, like Peter Capaldi's was, you know, to the point, straight, a bit like him, you know. So it worked for his personality. But I'd love to see something, you know, just a bit crazier for, like, the next one, you know? What about, like, a kilt or something? Like, something great. Like, wouldn't that be kind of cool? Like, just
that would be, yeah.
Doctor in a kilt. Like, what does it matter? Like, you can wear anything, you know. Like, the rule book's out the window. And, like... I think it'd be pretty cool. I mean, kilt sales would go through the roof. So,
true.
I mean, bow ties did, like, when Matt Smith took over. I remember there was, like, a bump in bow tie sales. And I know it was funny, not related to Doctor Who, but during, like, the World Cup, like, waistcoats, like, the manager, what's his name?
Well,
he's the manager of bloody England.
Gareth Southgate.
Gareth Southgate, yeah, he had like the blue waistcoat, and it like sales shot up. It's crazy, like just some kind of icon, and suddenly like it was I feel like something slightly, not anything dumb like a tunic or something. You know, like you got to think like he's got to be able to deal with tough situations. You know, but like like a cowboy kind of pirate, or so interesting. I know. I just really like if they tried something. Yeah.
What was it? What if it? You know, if we next get another female Doctor, Ben, what do you think we'd kind of be looking at for that?
What, for like a costume? Oh man,
because like it's difficult because a lot of especially like if we're looking like to kind of older costumes, like a lot of women's costumes were not very athletically
it would be interesting on how you could embrace kind of femininity, kind of. I mean, look at a load of kind of Sarah Jane costumes. I mean, you'd have to make it so that they could run in it, so you couldn't really do like a pencil skirt.
No.
Something like, what about like a kind of 80s jumpsuit? Like that would be kind of interesting to see. Kind of
that would be interesting.
A bit, like a bit of a power suit, kind of, like the trousers and the top kind of connects.
I could see that, yeah.
Just so like jazzy. That would be really interesting to see. Like you could even do the hair like an 80s style, like if they got a really kind of. Because why make them modern when they're, an out-of-time alien who has no presence? Like,
I can see that.
Is what they live in. And if you made the first story set in the 80s, like, it would be kind of awesome to see, like, kind of an 80s style Doctor, but in, like, 2020. And it could be some interesting kind of stuff. A bit like, kind of Irani's get up in, that's kind of a jumpsuit.
Yeah.
And just you could make it kind of Time Lordy with like insignias and stuff like, so it's got that slight Time Lord-esque to it, and like I don't know, maybe bring back a question mark somewhere.
You could do.
I love to address that in the question mark underpants. That was so good in the Saigon Invasion version.
Yeah.
That was a really nice nod. I remember saying before that I really hope they comment on it, and they actually did. I was like, oh hell yeah, that was awesome. But yeah, I think like a jumpsuit kind of 80s, because it allows being able to run.
Yeah.
But it's out there enough that it's it would stand out on a poster. Right to here, you can probably just see the edge of it. Probably not actually. It's cut. Right next to me, I have the 50th anniversary kind of poster, which had up. At that point, the 11 Doctors, not counting John Hurt, and obviously Peter Capaldi wasn't on there. But like, if you added like, I know that they've done updates of this poster actually and added the other guys in. Not sold it though, like fan edits.
Yeah.
And like, I could see like a jumpsuit 80s looking female Doctor like standing out really nice.
Yeah.
And this kind of big, poofy kind of frizzy hair, because I think there's not enough like kind of curly haired female stars. It's always about like straightened hair, like just I'm not saying do it for representation, but I mean it is nice to have someone to look up to as a kid. It's nice having role models, so and it'd be nice to go for it. But yeah, like I don't know, if you went for a black Doctor, like an afro would be freaking sick. Like that'd be stylistic, or like just really out there with the fashion. And I think a ginger Doctor maybe at some point. Who knows? But I mean, it's so out there. Like I just think they need to take more risks, I guess, with the costume. People like cosplayers love a challenge as well. Like it'd be nice fun, something different. But yeah, I think like a really out there kind of costume would be awesome for sure. But yeah, I mean the Roof Doctor's costumes I do actually quite like, and I think it's a shame that because I think she's she's a fantastic actress, and it's kind of a shame she's kind of a cameo-ish Doctor, I guess.
Yeah, I mean maybe I'll do more with her in a way, but like it wasn't a great first impression, to be honest.
I think
just her incarnation, like if they could find a way to make her more interesting, then sure. But
they did a lot with what she had, but again, it's the issue of gimmick character, a bit like when Clara first appeared in series 7B. Like, she's just a gimmick of who is she. She's a mystery, so we can't literally tell you anything about her because then it would be boring.
I mean, to be fair, I was the same with River Song as well, to be honest.
Yeah, but at least she was just constant cameo. I guess, so was the Roof Doctor. I don't know. It's like we need the next season to like really be able to, I guess, see how it kind of shapes up.
Make a proper judgment, yeah.
Yeah, because the idea of Doctors before the Doctor is still like, I'm still some elements I do like.
Yeah, still not delighted by it, but no.
Here's something different.
It is what it is. It is. Yeah. It's stuck now. Unless they decide to retcon it, but probably not.
I think if it would be retconned, it would be in another era by a different head writer.
By someone else. Yeah.
That's how it would be retconned, and then there'd probably be uproar about that. Some people would be about that,
and then Doctor Who will just become the Star Wars fan.
Yeah. Yikes.
I mean, to be fair, we're not far off it.
Yeah. Oh, boy. But, yeah. I mean, we'll see what happens. I think it's really hard as well on Jodie. Like, if you look, 2 seasons, and like if you compare it to like the 10th Doctor, he had 13 episodes per season.
Yeah.
So she's already 3 down on 2 seasons. So that's 6 episodes we've had less of her, which is like, that's half a season. So like, it's straight, it adds up having these, less episodes, because it gives you less time to kind of, warm up to them and see what they're like in lots of different situations, And that's sometimes, I don't know, it's the balance, isn't it? Quality over quantity. It's like, well, maybe if you have more stories, at least you're going to more likely have, better ones. Because when you've got so few, a bad egg really stands out. That's the issue when you have so many. Yeah,
it does. It does. Yeah, in that regard, yeah, she has been quite hard done by. Cause...
It's tougher, isn't it? Because you lose. That's already, compared to even Matt Smith's. I mean, his second season only had 12. Yeah, with Reading a River Song. No, that's still 13. Yeah, so even compared to Matt Smith, at 6 episodes less, half a season. That's insane. The amount, like, you got to think, like, you could choose, like, the first half of like a season has got some stellar episodes in it, like of every single season. If you went to all the seasons, which were 13 episodes, even 12, those first 6, like it's a lot like that. That's maybe 2 of them are bad adventures, but then you could still have 4 really good ones, or at least 1 amazing one, 2 good ones, 1 mediocre and 2 bad. Like that's still like there's like 3 in there which you'd want to go back and watch. So yeah, it's a tough. I think she's been really hard done by with the episode cuts, basically the cull, and that's why I really hope she stays for 2 more seasons.
Just to make up for it.
So it's got that equal kind of like really the same amount of time on it. Like, and I feel like if a companion's going to leave, you'll get either Yaz will stay on. Hopefully it would just be. Because I think Graham and Ryan's story is kind of coming to an end. It seems like
it already has, really.
Yeah, I mean, there was no.
They kind of finished it in the first series, anyway.
Yeah. That was a big mistread, I think. There.
Or maybe they weren't expecting him to stay on.
Potentially, but I mean, then would they have offered them a contract if they wanted to get rid of them?
Well, maybe they didn't want to get rid of them, but maybe they just weren't. Yeah.
Sure. Stay on, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, maybe they'll sign on for 1 season.
Because it's kind of like that with Clara.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's at the end of the season. Maybe they offered, thinking Bradley Walsh, like, yes, we got Bradley Walsh for 1, thinking that he'd probably only want to do 1. Actually, wants to do more. There's very a good chance, actually, I think, of that being the case. Yeah. But yeah, I hope she does 2 more, because I do like her as the Doctor. I just feel like we need a bit more just time with her to really kind of be like, yeah. I really enjoyed last season. I did. Like, looking back, I had really fun over the 10 weeks watching it. Yeah, like Planet 55 or whatever. Orphan 55. What's Planet 55 from? That's the
alien movie. That's the CGI dumb.
Oh yeah,
made it.
Was it Studio 55 or something then?
I don't know. The only experience with that beyond like seeing advertisements was I played a little bit of the DS game.
I've seen that film. Wasn't there the animation studio which did the 10th Planet? Wasn't that?
Maybe.
I think it was.
Could be.
but that's where I got it from. But yeah, Orphan 55. Like obviously that one was like a bit of a, but
End Times Children, I think was.
I still like Sacha Dhawan's.
Well, yeah, but I prefer watching it. Yeah,
Planet 55. That's where it's from. Yeah, Planet 55.
And then I'm still not like I don't see why it gets a lot, but I really still don't really like Future Dune either.
Oh yeah, big plot. Yeah, that's the issue. That's the issue where you have like an episode cut. You can't dedicate an episode like that to the thing because then you're losing enough. I mean, we discussed this before in previous podcasts, so there's no point going over it again. But so moving on. This week, I finished Keys of Marinus, and I've started the Aztecs, which is so freaking good. Just such a banging story. But yeah, Keys of Marinus, didn't enjoy it as much this time around.
No, it's not great. It's all right. It's
interesting. I mean, there's a lot of elements where I'm like, oh, okay, what happens next? Like, so they go to the ice planet and they get the key, and then these ice soldiers come alive, and they kind of chase them out the cave and all the way to the shed where they get like there's the evil guy who kind of kidnapped Barbara and clearly was going to sexually assault her. I mean, it was pretty dark really what was going on. But yeah, and then like they obviously kill him and then they time warp away and then they're like, huh? Oh no. I'm like, what do those ice soldiers do now? Like the key's gone. Like, I kind of want to know what existential crisis they have. Like, well, what the fuck do we do now?
They look for a new career.
Yeah, but are they made of ice? Like, this is the thing. I want to know what the hell they are. Like, it's so, like, just open-ended. It's like, what would you do if, like, your only job, you fuck up, but no one's there to punish you? You kind of just guarding it for no reason. What happens next? You know, are they still just trudging around the snow? Do they go and kill everyone on the planet trying to find it? Like, who knows?
I don't know.
But yeah, there was a great death though in it where it's like the ward gets pushed over the edge and is falling down a hole, and like they've added the scream over the top, but it's literally like it looks like a piece of cardboard cut out like a man, like in a star shape, and it's just like you can see it just like kind of like hits the water, but it's so clearly like a cardboard cutout. It's like they didn't even like try. It's like really be better like an action figure and just throwing that over the edge. It made me laugh. But yeah, it had its decent parts. The weird court case, it's very strange. It literally does feel like a different story every week. It's like you could easily put one episode in a DVD. It should be like, yep, separate stories, you know, because they're so different per one.
Yeah, it's a very strange one.
It is very strange, and somehow Susan and I can't remember the girl who they pick up on the adventure, one of Marinus's daughter.
Yeah,
like they're in this ice cave, and she's literally wearing like a tunic. And she hasn't frozen to death yet. And I'm like, you're in the middle of a snow like land. You're in a snow cave. And I know you had a fire, but the fire's out now. You're going to die very quickly. Like, they're literally in tunics and shit. And I'm like, you guys should be dead. Like, the cold would just like freeze you up and you'd collapse. Like, how are you living? But
different planet, different environment. Maybe
snow lands there at 25 degrees.
Yeah, exactly. But maybe it's all different. The how nature works is different.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, that could be a fair thing. I mean, like if it was a different element and it froze at a higher temperature, sure. But then there's wolves on the planet. It's inferred to be Earth, but it's strange. I have no idea. It's a weird one, to be perfect. But yeah, on to the Aztecs now, and it's pure art, really. I mean, can't get a better story. 4-parters are just, I think it's the perfect amount of time, really. Like, I think very rarely does 6 parts. Actually, does 6 parts need to be needed for like a?
It depends. Like sometimes it's more than I think. a lot of episodes do more than enough to justify having 6 episodes. But yeah, being aware of the pacing and like sometimes things can drag. Like if you have enough content to fill 6 episodes, then do it. I don't think you should necessarily be forced to compress like the stories into 4 if it needs that extra bit of time for the sake of the story. But yeah, I mean, it just depends. Just depends on the script and what the ambitions are for it. Better than compressing 3 stories down to 4 episodes down to 3.
Yeah,
You're not there yet. But
yeah, Planet of the Giants, they did that.
The final episode of that is, oh boy.
What is that, isn't it? They just wanted to get to Daleks quicker, wasn't it? That was why they did it.
Pretty much, yeah.
Which was a bit dumb. I mean, like, 1 more week wouldn't have hurt, but hey ho.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it got me kind of thinking now watching the Aztecs is why don't they just do, a historical where there's just humans as the bad guys? Like, why not? I mean, the closest we've gotten to it at this point has been Demons of the Punjab, which I still argue would have been better without the aliens, to be perfectly honest.
Yes.
I think it would have just the aliens distracted from the plot. And yeah, I mean, it's a solid story. Like, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, that was a pretty damn good story, actually. I think at the time I didn't quite get it, but I think I need to do a rewatch. But the more I thought about it, the more I actually.
No, I always did enjoy that one. Actually,
it was nice doing a different historical kind of area, and like it's like I'd love them to visit like Asia in the past again, something like that. Like they haven't really ever really gone to Asia or anything like properly for years and years and years.
No.
And like I think that they're definitely missing something there. Like, I mean, like China is like, didn't they do a deal with China to show like Doctor Who over there? I think so. Like, it's
probably
pretty well out there. I'm pretty sure. Just like they kind of did for America. Like they definitely got like the best thing Moffat did was get the American fan base really into Doctor Who.
Well,
they really pushed it
more, more so than it was. Like, there's an awareness of the show over there now, but the fan base still isn't massive. Like,
I think it's pretty big, to be fair now, especially like I know like a lot came on during the Matt Smith era. You see it online a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm like, why not? I'm confused as to why they don't. I guess like I know aliens, but the toys aren't really saying that much at the minute. Like they're still obviously doing well enough because they're still making the toys, but I don't know. I don't see like they didn't really make action figures of the creatures in Demons of the Punjab. Like I don't know. I feel like would it have been more powerful story if it literally the villains were just.
Well, I mean, I think in terms of the actual merchandising, it's all been quite scaled back compared to what it used to be. I mean,
yeah.
I don't even know what they make anymore, really. Beyond like, I mean, they still do some like classic bundles for B&L. I think
they do like T-shirts and bags,
which was cool because they had like bundles for B&L where they were doing like Big Finish packs, so like actual like costumes and like characters from Big Finish as like the 5-inch action figures, which is cool.
Oh, that's cool. But yeah, I know that like. They do a lot of like they still do like the main action figures. They're still doing some of the smaller ones, 3-inch, 5-inch.
Do they still do those?
Yeah, I know. I saw some for Jodie's Doctor, but not many.
Yeah, it's just good. Yeah, I don't know. I was always kind of put off by them, mainly because it kind of at the time felt like the 5-inch ones, which was the ones I was always collecting at a point in time, seemed to kind of get shafted for them. But like it's kind of almost gone the other way because like all I see now, these like bundles with like the 5-inch figures. Although it seems like everything's really been scaled back. Like,
well, I think it generally is.
So what? There's like it's quite a lot of figures of Jodie herself, but like there's not. I don't think they've ever done anything for like any of the companions or. I'm looking and trying to see if there's if there's much, but there doesn't. Yeah. There really doesn't seem to be anything.
Yeah. Interesting.
So like what they're focusing on like
They do like general kind of around the house kind of things rather than like.
Actually, there has been. That was something. There might be. I just saw a picture of a set with Graham.
Graham and Yaz, yeah, for sure. I know they've done those guys, those action figures. I mean, yeah, they must be selling, but yeah, and it's not the same. I mean, it's not like it used to be anyway. That shopping in toy shops is not the same anymore. It's a dying franchise. Everything's online. Same day delivery and stuff. So like, even would pushing merchandise do that much more? I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, it's just a different world anyway now. Maybe from our childhoods, we're trying to see what we'd like, but would it actually do that well? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, it's just a general like lack of pushing of like of course there's merchandise, but like again, it just feels like everything's shrinking.
Yeah,
it's sad to see,
but I think
like
in some ways it's because there's just so much more media now. Every year there's a new series, and like they just go into a catalog, and it's like there's just more and more competition every year. Like there's never going to be less content out there to be a fan of. There's just more and more things which people are watching and being fans of, and more and more series. It's it's never going to go, and never going to disappear. Like there'll be a new sitcom next year which loads of people are fans of, and there'll be enough. It's just building, and everyone does merchandise of the bigger brands. Like back when Doctor Who started in 2005, there was no Game of Thrones or Walking Dead, which are big money makers for merchandising now. So there was just less competition, and every single year there's just more and more competition because there's just more and more shows, series make.
I mean, I get that.
And I think just the whole kind of merchandising world is changing anyway. I
mean, it's true.
Isn't
I mean, you're not wrong. Although, like, merchandising is still like massive for a lot of these like large franchises.
For sure.
Like, in terms of movies, like a lot of the money is made on the merchandising rather than films themselves. Like, if you can get that merchandising down, like you're in there. Like, and a lot of companies like they will like. So like when I think for like part of like the Sony Marvel deal, for example, for Spider-Man, like despite Sony continuing to retain the rights and whatnot, like I think there was some sort of
Marvel had the rights to the merchandise.
They didn't entirely to begin with. There was some sort of addendum deal done. I don't know if it was an extension or what, but like this was done like late 2000s, early 2010s, I think, where like Marvel would end up like getting all of it, while Sony would get all of the
movies,
all the movie, which is why they continue to push Spider-Man as much as they did, unlike the X-Men and the Fantastic Four and such, just because Marvel were profiting of it regardless. So yeah. But yeah, merchandising is huge, and like I said, it just. Well, I don't, want to necessarily make it like all doom and gloom. Like, it's like just flicking through this page for like merchandising. It just seems like so much of it is just like B&L exclusives and like Big Finish, and that's kind of what. And of course, Time Lord Victorious now, and that's kind of what makes up most of it. Like, it just.
Yeah. I
don't know. Maybe it is just the way things are going in general, but like this seems,
it's sad. I think it's just sad, the high street shops are dying basically. Like that's the thing. Like they have so little stock anyway that it's just Amazon same day delivery. It's just the king. Like you want to support your local, but as what happens,
Well, I mean, even assuming that, like, a lot of these. You'd assume that a lot of these merchandising things we'd be able to just get on Amazon. You know, like you should like disregarding like the delivery, like the fact that most of these are like in a like a considerable amount of, especially the 5-inch figure content, is now just like in a budget store. Like I think.
Yeah, looking at Forbidden Planet, there's a load of kind of a lot of t-shirts, bags, books. Yeah, there's the 13th Doctor Barbie doll, which is pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I did see that. Yeah,
like Titan, Kawi Titans, the Doctors. That's cool. I actually did 12, quite nice actually. And they did a 13th Doctor one as well. But yeah, you know, they've done like the Doctor's scarf from Resolution, and yeah, it's mainly comics. There's the 13th Doctor action figure, but it's mainly comics is what they do, and t-shirts. I think that's about it. Ace's badge, yeah, just a heck ton of comics and t-shirts. But I guess they sell or they wouldn't make them, you know.
True.
It's just how it works. Wouldn't make it if it wasn't profitable.
I guess so.
And that's just how the news goes.
Yep.
But yeah, so. But yeah, I guess that's why the aliens are merchy, I guess. But like then again, there's no merchy, so. It would just be nice to have one historical story where there's no alien or anything, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe even do like a Scooby-Doo got you moment where like you think there's an alien, but it's actually just a human in a costume. I wonder how that would go down. Probably pretty badly. But it would definitely catch people out if it wasn't actually a real alien.
Yeah. Well, it's probably... Has that happened before? Might have happened before.
I don't think so. There's been stories. I mean, the Visitation had someone in a disguise, but that was it. Like, there wasn't aliens in that.
Maybe.
It'd be an interesting, you know, you do a whole thing, the Doctor's scanning it, but there's no like life form. That's the issue there with the sonic screwdriver. It would just scan as human. So I guess you've got to just get rid of a sonic screwdriver. But yeah, to be honest, that's something that just needs to go. But they love it for the merchandise.
Yeah.
I just destroy it at the start of every episode, so it exists. But
yeah,
just find the most hilarious ways to just get it destroyed.
What, just like K9?
Yeah, just falls in some water, or so. Just have a really clumsy Doctor who ends up breaking their Sonic all the time. It'd be interesting, at least. But yeah, I think that pretty much wraps it up. I'm still halfway through the Aztecs, so I've got to finish that one off. Then it's on to the Sensorites. Silurians, in black and white. So there we go. Yeah. What do you guys think should be a costume? You know, comment below what you think would be a cool, out there, kind of more risque, not in that way. Kind of black leather cap.
Oh goodness. Yeah, that wouldn't go down well. I tell you.
No, definitely not. Hilarious. But yeah, and what do you think? Should there be stories without aliens? I think just, you know, one every now and then. Like, it's not been done in the 12 seasons since it's come back, so it'd be interesting, you know, just a historical. Also, on my day-to-day calendar, which sometimes makes an appearance in this podcast, we've got the second Doctor this weekend. And do you want to guess his quote?
What?
I would like a hat like that. The famous second Doctor quote that everyone quotes all the time.
Yeah.
Like a hat like that. So that's some words of wisdom for you listeners today.
Yep.
You'd like a hat like that. There we go. Well, thank you very much for listening. We'll see you probably next Sunday because we're busy on the Saturday, so we're going to record on Sunday instead. So we'll see you next Sunday. If you watch weekly, who knows? We have a small following, maybe, or just small following of people who will never come back again. Who knows? True. But thank you very much for listening. We'll see you next time, guys. Bye.
Bye.